feature match area. Hello and welcome to coverage of the Magic Online Community Cup. We're in Renton, Washington at the home of Wizards of the Coast. I'm Marshall Sutcliffe with Matt Tabak in the booth, Brian David Marshall in the red zone, and we're ready for the last round of action. This is Battle for Zendikar Draft, straight up, no stipulations, no ingredients, nothing like that. The winner is our champion this round, and there's only 4 points to divide the two teams right now. Matt, Community up by 4 coming into the round.
If you were drawing this up, you could not have asked for a better finish than this. The very last round, look who we have on screen, or the match we're going to go to. Mike Turian, Yoel Larsson.
Two Pro Tour champions?
Yeah, Pro Tour champions, Pro Tour Hall of Famer, Mike Turian, the most recent Pro Tour champion, Yoel Larsson. This is one round for it all. This is awesome. Let's get to it.
All right, so we are underway here, and it looks like a mulligan for both players.
Yoel with some impressive cards in those two planar, that card, the planar outburst.
Planar
apologies.
outburst, yeah. He's got two of those, destroy all non-land creatures. It's also got Awaken itself.
Yeah, which we've seen used to great effect. It allows you to wipe the board clean, except for possibly a land creature on your side.
Wow, that was a good draw for Yoel. He just drew his Lifespring Druid, I want to say.
Yeah, that's the 2/1. It taps for 1 mana of any color. We see Yoel has 4 colors in his deck. He has cards with Converge, so he'd love to produce all 5 colors on occasion.
Does he also have his Royal Savant there on the end?
That's Noyan Dar.
Yeah.
Is that what that is?
I believe it's a Royal Savant.
Oh, okay.
So every time you play an instant or sorcery spell, you can basically put 4 +1/+1 counters on a land and make it a creature.
Wow.
Right.
It awakens the land every time you play
Yeah,
it.
it
Every
kind
time
of
you play an instant or sorcery.
All right, well, now check it out, though, because Mike Turian's not sitting still for this either. You can see the creature he's cast is one of the most efficient ones. It's called Catacomb Sifter. It gives him a 2/3 and a 1/1 for 3 mana, and it has Devoid. And on top of all that, whenever a creature he controls dies, he gets to scry one.
This is really going to help smooth out his draws from here on out if he can take advantage of that a few times. Kozilek's Channeler is huge.
And that is going to be natural connection there for Mike Turian in response, which looks like a counterspell when you tap it in response to a creature, but actually it's just rampant growth at instant speed, so he's going to get a land out of the deal.
Yeah, there might have been a small moment of panic from Yoel as he wondered what the response could possibly have been, but just some more land for Mike.
Now, what is that Mike has up in his hand there? Grip of...
Is that Grip of Desolation?
It is Grip of Desolation.
That card is going to be very good against Yoel. It is 6 mana, instant, destroy target creature and target land.
What?
Yeah.
Yes.
That is going to be a blowout.
So,
you know what? He's going to cast it right now.
That seems fine, actually.
I think he's going to take out a mana source and maybe a white land here.
That does not seem terrible here. I mean, he can take out 2 mana sources, right? But either creature takes away mana.
Yeah, but the interesting thing is that he has to decide if he wants to take out 2 sources of colored mana or just the amount of mana.
I wonder how much the 4/4 body of the Channeler was the deciding factor
well,
there.
I think it was a lot for him because it meant he got to attack this turn, and that's really all Mike Turian wants to do in this world.
That's true.
Now, the interesting thing here, though, is that the planar, what was it, Outburst or whatever, is still around. All right, it looks like he's going to go with Noyan Dar instead, though. So we'll get a look at this card. Creature, Legendary Merfolk Ally, 4/4, and whenever you cast an instant or sorcery, you may put 3 counters on a land. You basically get to awaken a land. And he's just going to rumble right in there, though. As it turns out, Turian does have the combat trick this time. But he's kind of infamous for just making you figure it out. and he rumbles there. And now Territorial Baloth is the follow-up play. At some point, are we going to see this planar action go here?
Look what Yoel just drew.
What is it?
So he can produce many colors of mana, 4 in this case, for Brilliant Spectrum. Draw X cards, where X is the number of colors of mana spent to cast, then discard 2. So he's going to draw 4, discard 2.
Jeez.
And he's going to make
careful
his
consideration. Anybody?
Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
that's what Yoel's been calling that card this weekend. He loves the 4-color archetype in this format.
And Yoel not only gets to make one of his lands into a creature, which is going to set up for planar outbursts later, because those creatures are not going to be destroyed. So a very nice play from the community team's Yoel Larsson.
Hey, weren't these guys our first feature match of the weekend as well? Yeah, it was. It was the 2 Pro Tour champions, round 1, and they're going to end it here in round 12.
Yeah, you can see the team standings on the lower left part of your screen there. Community team's up by 4 as we started the round, and as the results come in, you'll see now. Matt Tabak, how many match wins do they need then in order to lock this thing up?
So they're looking for a record of 4. The community, right? All they have to do is
Hey, you run the numbers. You're the rules guy here.
all they have to do is if they tie this round and go 4 wins each,
then they win for
then
sure.
the community team will
What
hang
if they
on to
get
their
3
lead.
wins?
If they go 3 wins, they're going to lose 4 points in the They're going to lose not only their 4-point lead, but another 4-point lead. It's going to be an 8-point swing, and Wizards will take it out.
So let's see what happens here. It looks like the first planar outburst is on the stack here. But like you said, that's just creating more and more of these awakened creatures, and it's going to be a pretty massive blowout here. I don't see how Turian gets back from this one without drawing a couple of removal spells back to back.
Yeah, Yoel has a huge advantage after that sweeper comes through. 3-3, 2 3-3s on Yoel's side to just lands for Mike Turian. And if Mike can draw out of this and get his board presence back, Yoel is more than happy just to do it again.
All right, but you know what? Mike Turian's not done yet. He's got a nice follow-up play here with Deathless Behemoth, 6/6 Vigilant, and he can get it back later if he finds some Eldrazi Scions. But for now, Tightening Coils is just going to shrink it down, basically make it an 0/6, and let Yoel Larsson continue the beatdown plans. We may see him just play Coastal Discovery without awakening something as well if he just wants to draw some cards to keep the land drops flowing.
Yeah, it's true that Yoel's down to 3 lands that aren't also creatures. So if he wants to keep up that aggression and use those as creatures, that does sort of limit his options.
So Turian looked like he was ready to put 3+1/+1 counters on his creature and get in for 3 here. And yeah, I think that is what he's going to do. No, he keeps changing his mind.
Yeah, it's an effective combat trick on defense. I wonder, tapping and untapping his lands, what kind of signal that sends to Yoel.
Probably a pretty strong one.
Yeah, it does telegraph that he has something.
Yeah, Yoel's actually just not going to attack this turn. He's not going to give him the satisfaction here. And instead he's going to use his Coastal Discovery to awaken 4 and just pass.
So I think
to draw another Coastal Discovery in the process.
Yeah, he did. It didn't even leave his hand, did it?
So I think we'll see those counters from Mike.
Yeah, he put him on end step there.
Yeah, no.
And he's also going to follow up, but he's attacking for 4 because this creature, Ruination Guide, gives his other colorless creatures +1/+0. That's going to drop Larsson down to 5.
So if he fires off the other planar outburst, Mike's down to 1 card in hand, but it is Bane of Balagad.
And what does that do?
This is the one that's kind of the throwback
Is this
to
the Annihilator and Air?
Yeah,
in
this
air
is
quotes?
the 7/5. Whenever it attacks,
Wow.
defending player exiles 2 permanents. Now, the defending player chooses which permanents. It's not target.
What is that he just drew there? Oh, that's it makes 2 Scions.
Yeah, that's called the Scions.
Okay. But in the meantime, he's just going to start rumbling here. Wow, Mike Turian has really hung in this game well. I mean, you look at the cards that Yoel Larsson's played on him. He's played Coastal Discovery and Planar Outburst, and Turian's just sort of slogging right through it. Oh, no. Oh, no, Mike. He played out his Bane of Balagad, and now it's just ripe for the picking
Well,
here.
nobody ever plays around the second one. We've seen this. And
I wonder. Yeah, remember, this is the third round, and like I said, there were notes exchanged between players. He may have known. And look at him; he just sort of gives the shrug, like, "Yeah, what are you supposed to do?"
Nobody's ever not griped about getting planar outbursts twice in one game.
Rightfully so.
Yeah.
right.
And he's going to go to 10, and it's pretty hard to imagine him surviving through this. Now he can get that creature back by playing the Scion, sacking them, and getting it back into his hand here, but is it too late is the question. He's down to 5, and he's facing a pretty daunting board here.
Scour from Existence, often a great draw in the late game, but too little too late by itself.
So this guy,
There we see.
you can sacrifice 2 Eldrazi's to return it to your hand. You can only do it at sorcery speed, but he actually wouldn't be able to recast it that turn anyway, would he?
Yeah, because the Scions that you're sacrificing to get the Deathless Behemoth back, you can't at the same time sacrifice those for mana. So
Yeah.
he
So-
doesn't have quite enough land to pull off that play. So it looks like Scour from Existence is the play. He's going to get through the turn, it looks like.
Looks like he's just going to die here. I mean, that's 6 damage, right?
Oh, sure.
Oh, he gained life.
Yeah.
How did he gain life there?
Well,
Well,
Yol couldn't attack. He went from 14 to 10 on the last attack because Yol had to use some of those land creatures to cast spells,
I see.
especially one of the planes for the Scour. So I think he'll be at 1 after this.
God, this is so tough. Larsson rumbling, putting Turian down to 1 life. Hedron Archive doesn't look like the kind of draw that Mike had in mind here.
No, Archive might find him some cards, but it's going to cost Mike precious mana to get there.
Yeah, now he does look like he could survive another turn here, though. I think he's a mana short on being able to activate. Yeah, he's just going to have to give up there. So Yoel Larsson picks up the game here for Team Community.
Too many attackers. Too many attackers.
Too many things.
We see some of the sideboarding action going on now.
I've got some updates. Should I just be blasting those off here?
We can give some, I think. I don't think we
I mean,
want to give all.
Don't we just want to give them all?
Do we?
I think so.
Okay.
Well, now we've teased people, so.
Yeah, well, we can do that and still not. I don't know. Well, I see that there's 1 win in for the community team. Maria Bartholdi has smashed Sam Stoddard 2-0 already,
Nice.
picking up 1 of the necessary matches that they need to finish this thing off. That was fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're looking at some pre-game 2 sideboarding here, and that match was fast. That's amazing.
That gives the community a 138 to 131 lead now.
Yeah, like we said earlier, I was fumbling through the math. The community does lock up the win here with 4 wins in this round. So they are 1/4 of the way there. And Yoel Larsson is 1/2 of the way towards winning his match. So we'll see what happens in game 2. All right, so both players kept. Turian is on the play with a couple of lands that enter the battlefield tapped. Lumbering Falls.
A little constructed over there. A little slow, but pretty reasonable. I mean, whatever.
And we see Yoel Larsson has the Lifespring Druid.
Yeah, that was a huge draw for him in the first game. And I don't think any of that would have been possible without that Lifespring Druid. And I'm curious to see if it survives this time or how that actually plays out. We know that Turian is going to respect it here. Interesting, though, it looks like a 3/3 flyer is what Yoel Larsson wants to start things off with. Looks good.
Skyrider Elf, yeah, pretty efficient at any value of X. So 3 for a 3/3 flyer.
Yeah, even 0.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
it's fine at that casting cost, too. Oh,
So Mike is sacrificing his scions. He got a nice little bump.
is he doing the Bane of Balaged here?
Are we grifting?
2/4.
That's double back.
So he's only got 6
Going
mana.
for 6. I think it's the Sire of Stagnation.
All right. What does
Yeah,
that do?
there it
Let's
is.
take a look at Sire.
5/7 Devoid. And you can see there the
All right, that's fine.
kind of a reverse landfall.
It looks like Clutch of Currents is going to take care of that. That was a nice one there for Yo Larsson.
Yeah, very nice.
As Mike can't recast it.
Right. Mike does not get a refund on those scions he had to sacrifice for mana.
He's got a nice follow-up here with Territorial Baloth, though. A 4/4, bigger than anything that Yo Larsson's doing.
Very true. Let's see how Yul responds.
I was like, can you deal with this guy with just 3 lands? I didn't see anything in the first game. Yeah.
See, the Territorial Baloth can become a 6/6 with landfall. It's a reprint. Tightening Coils is going to ensure that it doesn't get much bigger. And there's an Incubator Drone as well. So once again, things looking really good for Yo Larsson, who's able to kind of curve out. He's got pressure going. But there's a land off the top now for Turian, putting him up to 6 mana, and meaning that he could recast that Sire.
I'm pretty sure that's
Yeah, I guess.
what we'll see.
That
It is a 5/7.
This is not consecrated thing.
One of the best power and toughness
Very bad.
combinations,
Yeah.
obviously.
Sire of Stagnation, kind of a reverse landfall effect, is really going to make Yul think twice about playing lands, should he draw them in the future. There we see Noyan Dar, the Royal Shaper, in Yul's hand. Used that to great effect in the last game.
That explains why we want to keep calling him the Royal Savant,
Oh, sure.
Shaper Savant.
So you have to prep me on these beforehand. I got nothing.
I wasn't. No, it wasn't. It wasn't a gag. I was just like, I was just crossing wires on a card I've seen 3 times.
Got it. Okay. That is apt to happen. This is, of course, the first time that many of us have seen this set this weekend.
So with Maria, with her win, she 3-0'd the draft.
Nice job.
Yeah,
Very nice.
really great for Maria there. I know she didn't do as well in the sealed, and she
Are
was
they
kinda
going to
bumming
have to
about
change
it.
the name of their podcast? So it is no longer a lie.
Could be.
I like the button.
Maria and Megan from Magic the Amateuring. They're going to have to change that to... I don't
So-
know. Is it pro? Do we get pro status out of this? No.
No,
But
no.
but they certainly have played like pros all weekend.
All right, Turian's going to drop to 15 on the attack here, but he's done a good job of putting forth some pretty nasty stuff. You can see that he's wary of the sweepers again, even though this time Yo Larsson doesn't actually have it. Question is he going to cast the breaker? Or, excuse me, the Bane
The
of
Bane of
Balaged.
Balaged.
Yeah. I mean, it's a great card that can really clean up the game. If he could see Yo Larsson's hand, he would just windmill slam that thing.
I mean, Yul has pretty much committed to his battlefield presence, right? We saw Noyandar come out.
Yeah, and I think that's what that's what Mike is seeing here too, as he does cast it, because he says, look, if he wipes the board away here, everything's dead.
Right. Now, as we saw, Noyandar is a nice setup to Planar Outburst.
Yes.
So it's not a crystal clear signal one way or the other.
Evolving Wilds off the top, and this draw has gone a little flat here for Yo Larsson.
Yeah, and you see those lands are staying in his hand. One good reason is the Sire of Stagnation over on Mike Turian's battlefield. If a land enters the battlefield under Yul's control, Mike will get to exile 2 cards from the top of Yul's library and also draw 2 cards.
That's unreal.
Definitely something Mike would love to do. Definitely something Yul does not want to see happen.
All right, the community team picks up another victory. Kenji Egashura defeats Melissa DeTora 2-0.
That brings them just 2 wins away from securing the Community Cup. And Bane of Balaged is on the move. at least a half step forward. There it is. Mike says, Yol, you need to lose 2 permanents right now. Yol obliges with lands.
Interesting. And is he chumping?
He's offered up the 2/3, it looks like.
Is one counter? Right. Is it trample?
As a chump, Mike has followed up to give it trample.
He gives it trample.
And I think he got 3 counters. Yeah, up to 10-8. So that's going to be down to 9 life for Yol.
Only gets trample until the turn. But
Yeah.
the counters stay.
You have another one? Goodbye. Goodbye, Wrath Mana.
Okay.
What did he?
Mike says, this is what I got. I got no cards in hand. You see everything.
Anticipate. This is a big anticipate, though. It looks like with the number of lands that Larsson has at this point, he might just be too late anyway.
You're going to have to play a land eventually.
It's going to trigger Noyan Dar,
Oh, you make your land a creature.
which doesn't feature, doesn't think to be totally relevant, at least right away. Yeah, Yol Larsson is running out of permanents, and running out of cards, and running out of time. He does find a planar outburst, but that's a lot of mana he needs. And you can see Yol Larsson's battlefield is getting sparse. He's had to sacrifice his lands just so his creatures can live to chump block.
Yeah, he's trying to find a race here where, you know, he can kill Turian.
Mike is at 7.
He has that land, though, right? Lumbering Falls that he can activate here. Does he have the mana to do that? Yeah, he does. So that thing can jump up and block, so 2 creatures can get blocked here. Oh, he found it, too. Did Larsson just no lands left?
In with the Flyers is Yol. That's 4 points.
That's just not going to do it here. Now, interestingly, though, does Turian have enough to kill Larsson?
Well, even if he doesn't, I think that 2 permanents from Bane and Balaged's attack trigger.
Oh, you're right, because he can't sack the ones that are left over.
Yol has no choice but to play a land, which is going to give Mike some cards.
And Mike has Scour, so this one's just about done now. Updates are
It
rolling in here, and you know what? The community team is now 1 win away. Adam Staborski defeats Worth Wolpert, and they need 1 more.
They are 1 win away. All right, there we see Mike Turian. There we see Mike Turian wins game 2 to tie up his match with Yol Larsson. The community team, of course, is 1 win away, so we could be 1 game away, and we're watching it live here at the Magic Community Cup 2015. This is super exciting. We are down to the end.
Yeah, we are down to the final stretch here. Yol Larsson, if he defeats Mike Turian, they will be the champions. If he doesn't, then the Wizards team hopes and dreams stay alive of fending off the invaders.
Yeah. So we'll do some sideboarding options here.
1 and 1. Annihilated almost all of his permanents.
Mike's ready to go. Yol's shifting around some cards.
Yeah, that game would have gone some. I had the 6 mana get 3 lands. Yeah. Like, if I just
Yol's
first instead of-
hair is ready.
I'm like, you're
And
gonna
so
have
are
3
we.
lands,
Let's head to
yeah,
game
start
3.
drawing Cards, I'll draw lands. Yeah. But
All right.
clearly not the right path. given
Here we go, everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, we are ready for game 3 of this
Yeah,
match.
you would.
Would you keep this hand?
Ooh, what is that? That's
5
natural,
lands, natural
connection.
connection, and a sweeper.
I think
He's going to
so.
be able to cast a sweeper.
Yeah, I think so.
Put in a lot of faith.
I would glance at the top of my library.
Now he's drawn land, so Larsson's going to be bummed to see this, but the good news for him is that Turian is discarding to hand size here.
Oh no.
Yes. He
Deathless.
has kept the 2-lander and has missed his land drops. Natural Connection is going to power something out. He just needs something to spend the mana on. That's not bad.
Joel Larsson with a decadent amount of mana.
Oh, no.
Compared to Mike Turian.
Not like this, Turian.
Not drawing what he needs.
He is going to be discarding to hand size again. Another update, by the way, here. Wizards gets a win in this round.
Okay, Wizards on the board.
Ali Medwin defeats the Doc to take some more points back for the Wizard side of things.
It might all be for naught. The sun is setting. The window is closing for Wizards of the Coast. They need Mike Turian to draw a land, and he does.
He does. Now, Spell Shrivel's going to take out the first play that seems reasonable.
Yeah, Spell Shrivel. Sorry, counters.
Is going to counter
spell.
Natural Connection here, it looks like. I don't think that Larsson can wait to put that thing on the stack.
Yeah, can't blame Joel at all for this.
I mean, but this does open the door for Turian to just draw lands naturally. Oh, he just can't do it. But he's got 3 mana now, so he can actually play a spell. He's going to get a 2/3 out of the deal. Lifespring Druid, so effectively more mana here for Larsson, who hasn't been able to find one of his big payoff spells yet. And there's another land for Turian. Is he back in this?
He might be, at least for a while.
Hedron Archive's going to come down here, unless he has another creature he wants to play. No, he's going to play the Archive.
That is the jolt of mana Mike needs.
And more mana now for Larsson. He has flooded out hard here from keeping a very floody hand.
Yeah, Tale of 2 draws here.
And what is Mike using his mana on here? Sorcery, creature, instant, creature. Plummet looks like the only... Oh, he could... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, he just doesn't have any mana to spend here. Right, attack. Now he can play something.
Maybe Territorial Baloth?
Yeah, there you go. What is that 6 or that 3/3 6 mana card he's got up there?
Brood Monitor.
What does that do?
So it's 4 GG. 3/3. You see, it's devoid.
By the way, right on time. There's Clutch of Currents. Go ahead.
So it's what we were talking about earlier. That's very interesting. Brood Monitor is a 3/3 for 4 GG. It enters the battlefield. It comes along with 3 Eldrazi Scion friends.
He's going to want to play that as soon as he can.
Can you sack those to some effect?
You can sacrifice them not only to add 1 mana to your mana pool, but I believe Mike discarded Deathless Behemoth was his first discard off of hand size.
That is absolutely correct. It's
so,
right here.
So if he makes some Scions, he'll be able to get the Deathless Behemoth back in his hand. And now that he's got the mana he needs, we could see some large plays on Mike's side. Now, Larsson does have the Planar Outburst. So the more of his lands that he can turn into creatures, the happier he's going to be. We see Rising Miasma, the Infest variant. All creatures get -2/-2 until end of turn.
It's the Drown in Sorrow variant, isn't
With
it?
with Awaken. A quick note on those Awaken spells, they do resolve. You follow the instructions of the card in order, so the land that you turn into a creature does not get -2/-2, unless it was already a creature before you cast Miasma.
Good to know. Turian's going to rumble for a couple of damage here. And then what does he want to do with all this mana that he suddenly finds himself with? Call the Scions. Figure he's got more than that. I figured wrong. Guess he's just going to get back his guy.
Yeah, I believe that ability can only be activated anytime you can cast a sorcery.
Oh, you're totally right. So what is his plan here? He could scour if he wants to use a scour from existence.
My
here.
best guess is Mike forgot about the sorcery limitation. Maybe not. Yeah, scour it is.
Is he going to scour the land? Yeah, he's going to scour the land.
Yeah, I think knowing that about the 2 planar outbursts in Larsson's deck, he wants to get those land creatures out of the way.
I guess not.
Interesting play. Might want to hold that land, Mike. He's got a territorial Bailoff in his hand. All right, and has Turian turned this around? Now he's crunching in for 3, dropping Larsson down to 11.
Rumble, young man, rumble.
Yeah, and he can cast something pretty big this turn, too. One of 2 territorial Bailoffs or that Brood Monitor that you mentioned. Now, he doesn't want to get crazy about overcommitting, especially after seeing that block there.
Did Mike sacrifice the Scion token?
No, he just traded off for the 2-1.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I was a bit behind there.
That's what I meant for the block there.
Yeah,
He-
yeah.
You know, it indicates that it's possible that Larsson has a planar
Yeah.
thing in his hand, and he's actually got 2 now. Yeah, this seems like a good a time as any to use one. Another update. Ryan Spain wins his match for Wizards, and they're on the comeback here.
Wow.
Back-to-back match wins for Wizards of the Coast.
So
Means that they are still in it.
That's true. I was going
So
to
we
play
see the
Turian
outburst
match.
with Awaken. 4/4. Forest now is a big threat, dropping Mike to 13. Mike still with plenty of cards in hand.
Yeah.
Still has the Territorial Bailoff. Still has a Brood Monitor.
Wow, these matches are really close. All right, Brood Monitor is the choice here. Wow, that's a good card.
6 power worth of creatures. I think we're going to see maybe 2 of them get the Deathless Behemoth back. Yep, that is what we're going to see.
Now, can he actually cast it here?
Yeah,
he
he
can.
could sacrifice the Scion. He could upgrade that 1/1 to a 6/6.
Force another planar outburst. Look at Mike. He's like, do I really want to do this? He does have a reasonable follow-up play again.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's doing it. I like that play for Mike, but it is not going to work out beautifully for him here.
I think we're winning
All right, looks like we're going to see
that game for sure.
drawing 2 cards. We might have an update for you soon.
No, we
No?
sure don't.
Lanes, here we go.
So we see Yol continuing to turn his lands into creatures.
Well,
That Deathless Behemoth again rendered relatively powerless to 0/6. Bane of Balagad. All right, so we're seeing this playing out very similarly. Mike with the Bane of Balagad, if that's going to
it's like you're playing around one or
fall victim to the second outburst from Larsson.
Oh yeah, no.
All right, I've got an update for you here.
You do
Well,
have an update.
before you give that update, maybe people should log into Magic Online.
Yeah, that's a good
Oh,
point,
yeah.
PDM.
If you've ignored
This is your last chance to log into Magic Online, where if the community team were to win,
So for example,
Hypothetically,
let's say they pull it out.
you would get some number of unhinged lands and
Yeah.
a promo Thalia, Guardian of Thraben.
And that number is not
That brings us to
zero.
the update.
Oh, well.
Wedge has won his match, and the community are going to be victorious this year. Congratulations to the community team. We'll stick with this match and kind of ride it out here just because it's been an interesting game. But our tournament is effectively over, gentlemen.
yeah, great job here by Wedge, Adam Staborski, Kenji Igashira, and Maria Bartholdi all winning 4 matches between them,
Yeah,
which was
that
what
is
was needed
outstanding.
to lock this down.
Yeah, Ryan Spain and Ali Medwin were trying to hold the fort for the Wizards team, but their teammates couldn't quite hold up, and they end up winning. Now, we still have 2 Pro Tour champions fighting it out on camera, and I'm
Yeah,
pretty
this-
happy to watch that.
Yeah, this seems pretty interesting to me.
Robert Schuster and Jimmy Wong also still fighting.
They're at 1-1.
Would this would be like the closest Community Cup?
I wouldn't be surprised to see this be the closest. Yeah.
So you see Larsson crashing in with his land creatures.
Giving up one of them in the process, even. Oh,
Yep,
we can see why
it's
here.
all to set up the Rising Miasma, which is kind of like outburst number 2.5 for Larsson.
Wow, but look at this. Man, Turian just refuses to give up here.
I guess maybe that was 1.5, and 2.5 might be on the way now that we have Turian's follow-up play here.
Can play another territorial Baloth here. He can get back that thing again.
Yep, Deathless Behemoth, true to its name,
Jeez,
not staying in the graveyard for very long.
Third time it's cast this game?
We've seen this kind of all weekend. Akum Firebird, Deathless Behemoth, these threats that can just return over and over and over again.
3 Deathless Behemoth trumps 2 planar outbursts.
Yeah.
Okay. What is happening here?
Mike still packing some heavy hitters in his hand and soon to be on the battlefield.
He really is. There's an Evolving Wilds now for Larsson, but he's decided to pull the trigger on his other planar outburst. Must be nice.
Yeah. We have to count some mana here, so he's going to be able to swing in with at least 2 4/4s, or exactly 2 4/4s.
Exactly 2 4/4s. It's going to put Turian down to 2 here.
Is this the first time Evolving Wilds has ever dealt combat damage?
Probably not, but yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen that before.
I've never seen it,
I've attacked with a lot of lands in my day.
but not an Evolving Wilds.
I don't know that I've attacked with an Evolving Wilds. I don't think I've ever turned it sideways in that fashion.
Right.
I've tapped it for black mana.
There you go.
Oh, sure. It is often a swamp. It is not often a creature.
Yeah, this had been in play twice as well.
Rude Awakening.
Natural Affinity.
Sure.
Me and BDM are thinking about Cube now. That
Yeah, you guys are
just set. Yeah.
Building cubes to my left and right here.
I'm not sure what you can have.
Curious to see how Awaken cards go in Cube Draft.
Mike Turian, hilariously, is going to get to exile target creature and target land, but
And then die.
It is not going to be enough because there were 3 coming at him.
All right, so
That was sealed
Larsson
out.
finishes it up just for good measure, though, as we know, the team has already won, and a big round of applause.